Check, 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 check.
Let me climb in with you, shouty.
Yeah, climb on in. Just watch out for the cables.
Oh,
And I'll feed them.
what's up, girl? How you doing?
This is hilarious.
So you hang out here a lot, or
Oh my gosh, I hope I don't hang out here a lot.
what's a guy
Could you
like me gotta
imagine?
do to get it, or like you to go on a date with me?
Oh no. Help me get this baby out of me.
That's crazy. You know, we'll see what we can do. I make no promises. So, Fran, you gotta tell the people. Wait, which camera should we look at?
I don't know. We can wave to both.
I kind of like looking at that one as
Okay.
a primary. I feel like it'd be easier.
Is the setting good on it?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
I hope so. I think I hit record.
Nice.
So,
So, welcome to the pod, everybody.
welcome to the pod. Okay, Fran wanted to do this.
Joe has been emphasizing this all morning.
I
He
have
was
to.
like, you better tell everybody that this was your idea because I do not want to get comments of people
DMs.
being like,
My friends.
oh my gosh, I cannot believe you forced your wife to do this. It was my idea, everybody.
It was Fran's idea. She said, "Oh, we're okay." So context: we're in the hospital. You should probably understand that. You probably figured that out. But Fran's about to give birth, hopefully today.
Yeah,
We
my
are
water
March 14th.
broke. Yes, it's March 14th at 5:30 a.m.
5:30 a.m.
My water broke.
Her water broke.
I had contractions starting 2 hours before then.
Mm.
And then my water popped. And then since then, I haven't had much contractions. So they put me on this like medication.
Yeah. So we're about to get it going. Did they ever give you the stuff to soften your cervix? We should probably ask about that.
We should.
But anyways, and so we're leaving, and Fran's like, "Oh, you should bring the stuff to
The
record a
podcast,
podcast."
right?
And I was like, "Are you sure? You sure you want to do that?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I love the idea. I think it's a fantastic idea. I just want you to know that.
I just have a lot of fun doing this.
I'd have a lot of fun doing this.
It's fun. Plus, I feel like it's a good way of documenting
It
what
is. It's
we're
pretty
up
funny.
to.
So goofy.
I know. I love it though.
Yeah.
I hope this
happy.
doesn't make anyone feel uncomfortable.
Oh, I don't know why it would. I mean, everything's covered up. You're in your hospital gown.
Yeah.
They're probably like, "Oh my gosh, he's got his arm around her."
He's
Relax.
sitting in the bed with her, taking up all of her space. I literally requested, I said, can I have my husband, like, sit with me in the bed? She's like, oh, yeah, we can pull up a chair. I'm like, no, I want him, like,
In the bed.
in the bed
Fran
with
also
me.
asked if I could take a nap with her, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was like,
I don't
can
know if
he,
that's a
like,
great
lay
idea. I'm
down
not
and,
gonna
like,
lie
take
to
a
you.
nap with me? So,
That's so funny.
if you hear that in the background, that's our daughter's heartbeat.
Yeah. So she's got these little sensors. It's like, yeah, she's got those little sensors, and then we've got the fluids running on this side. There's a lot going on. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
You look good.
You look
You
good.
look beautiful.
I think for waking up at, like,
5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, and we didn't get to bed till like 1.
well, yeah, it was like
probably
1:15.
1:15.
I don't know what we were just moseying around.
Yeah, we were just
Well,
chilling.
we were working.
I was trying to get another pot up. Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah, I'm 11 in.
Yeah, we're 11 in.
posted,
Yeah.
but I've got a lot more in the vault.
Yes.
So
After
we're
this, I think I want to get up and, like,
gonna walk around, do some stretches.
well, just my butt feels like it's, like,
It's sore.
it's hard on this job.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as much as I feel like people want to hear us just yap, well, maybe we should give them some of the substance.
Yeah.
So it's something that right now you're kind of learning in the process of becoming a mother.
I am a mother, first
You
of
are a
all.
mother.
I don't know. And not, like, a weird, sad way, but I feel like there's this, like, really beautiful, selfless gift to it where you're literally, like, giving up part of your, like, autonomy, you know?
Mm.
Like, this baby has, like, kind of this authority in my body, and so she's taken over, like, the way that I look, the way that I, you know,
Yeah, it's
smell, even
facts. It's crazy.
the way that
Those
I walk and everything. And it's just one of those things where it's like, man, like, you could look at it and be like, oh my gosh, like, the baby's robbing me of this or that. Oh, this Pitocin's kicking in.
Is it really? You starting to get cramps?
Yeah, I'm starting to get contractions, I think.
They give
But
you the lowest dose they could.
yeah, but it's already, but it's not, it's like how I felt it this morning. It's
That's
nothing
fair. Yeah,
crazy, but I was like, oh, okay.
that's crazy. But learning how to give up so much. I think it's interesting because like I haven't had to give up anything. Like
Well, no, I think you have. Like, well, in certain times when like you just want to do your own thing, like I'll be like, hey, can you help me do this or can you help me do that?
yeah,
Like,
but that was kind of already happening. It happened more when when you were pregnant, but like I feel like that happened. The analogy I've been using lately is that like, and I feel like you probably went through this stage a little bit earlier, but the analogy I've been using is that in chemistry there's mixtures and there's this the word, it's compound, right? There's mixtures and there's compounds, and mixtures are just when things get mixed together, right? And you technically could separate them. If you mix sugar and salt together, technically you can separate them. It's very difficult, but you can do it, right? And then there's something different called a compound, and a compound is where there's actually a chemical reaction that causes the structure of the molecules, things like that, to actually be different. And I feel like when I become a dad, like, and I see, like, I'm a dad, yeah, but I haven't seen my kid. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The moment I see my kid, there's a chemical reaction that happens in my soul, right? There's a new compound that's created that I just don't have yet.
yeah, that's
And
fair.
I've got an idea of it, but like even marriage feels more like a mixture, where like I think becoming a father feels like become like a compound. Like
Yeah,
things
yeah,
just change internally.
yeah, that's fair. I could see that. I think it's very different from my end, considering that she's
Yeah,
like literally in my body. You know,
exactly.
like I can feel like literally everything, and the thought
Bro,
of
she
her
is a
developing.
squirmer.
Yeah, the fact that she's like developing and growing every part of her, and even her soul is like
Mm,
getting knitted in me.
yeah,
So it feels very much, very hard to separate the two. But now she's about to be separated.
that's true.
So
We'll be able to hold her, hug her,
yeah,
sniff her little face. She's been swimming in her pee for too long. Got to get her out.
that's what the amniotic fluid is.
Amniotic fluid is your child's pee.
Yeah.
Just want you to know that. I didn't know that.
Well,
I've been
part
dropping
of
that
it,
fact a lot, and
part
people
of
are
it
like,
is
"Really?" And I'm like, "Hey, you need to know. The people need to know. They don't tell us this."
definitely part of it is. They be peeing and stuff.
I mean, where else is it gonna go? It makes sense.
Yeah, no,
But
for
they're
sure.
suspended and swimming in their own urine. Let's just.
It could have been transactional, like with the placenta, that like the placenta would give and also take, and then it would take it to the
You know what I
mom's
saw the other day?
part.
Sorry, this is super random.
Discard. What did you see?
I saw on social media this video about if everybody in the world peed into the Grand Canyon, how long it would take for the Grand Canyon to fill up.
Ew, that's so nasty.
I know, it was super weird.
Did they say how long?
Oh, it would take like thousands of years if everybody in the world was peeing in the Grand Canyon at the same time, like all the time.
Who has that much pee?
No one. It's just it wouldn't happen. Like the Grand Canyon's massive, but it was like this AI generated like CGI type.
Ew.
It was very weird. I was like, first of all, yes, this is fascinating, but like, why did anyone think, oh, you know, it'd be a great video is if I generate
That's
a
so
rendering
weird.
of how many.
Somebody had to be on something when they were
Bro,
thinking
they're
about
tweaking.
that. Yeah, no, for real.
That's
People
so
are
crazy.
too bored sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
invest your time and energy into
Yeah,
something.
like start a podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on,
Stay committed.
that's crazy. What do you think are some things that are gonna change once Magnolia's here? Magnolia. We also
Like
at the end of this,
what?
we're gonna write a letter. Maybe we won't put this in the pod, but we're gonna tell you some notes.
Notes.
We're just gonna be like, Magnolia, I want you to know that we love you.
Aw, yeah. That would be sweet. But what do you, like, change in terms of physical or, like, internal?
This mic's kind of heavy. My hand's getting tired. I don't know. What do you think is gonna be different when we actually have her here?
I think it's hard to picture what won't be different. I think that,
No, what's going to be different?
yeah, I know. I feel like everything is going to be different.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to kind of like imagine like what is not going to be different.
Everyone's always like, it's all gonna change. Your whole world's gonna change, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. But I think something that I was learning from like a book, which I feel like is a really popular book, but they were talking about how parents often think that they have to adapt and change based off of like a baby's patterns. but really like what you're trying to do is integrate a baby into your patterns, and so they need to learn like your natural rhythm of life,
Yeah.
and they need to like figure out how to go about that versus like us changing everything for this baby. But
Yeah,
now there's
yeah.
going to be a lot of things that we're going to need that are going to change.
Yeah, true.
Ooh,
Are you feeling it?
yeah.
Oh
But
boy.
I still feel okay.
I'm glad we decided to record this now then.
Yeah. But I still feel okay. I still feel like I'm doing really well.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
You're so strong.
Thanks. Found it.
You're a legend.
Thank you. That's kind. I mean, I wasn't really doing much. Like, my body wasn't doing much.
Yeah.
What
We're
do you
really,
think?
really hoping that Magnolia is born today. That way we're all born on the 14th.
Yeah, that would be sick.
On the back of this hoodie, you guys have only seen the front, so it's safe, but on the back it says 14 because Fran was born on the 14th of November. I was born on the 14th of January, and we got married on the 14th of September. And if Magnolia is born on the 14th of March,
what?
it'd be freaking sick.
That would be sick. But what do you think is going to change?
I think we're gonna learn a new distribution of. I think our priorities are just gonna shift around.
Yeah, for sure.
And not even priorities in the sense of like of obligations, but priorities in the sense of like desires and wants.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and I already sense it. Is there times like when we weren't dating, I spent so much time at work. Like I just worked all the time. I was just like,
yeah,
what am I gonna do? Like,
what else are you gonna do?
yeah, so I would work like 50, 60-hour weeks, and I didn't even care because I was like, I didn't have anything else going on, right? Started dating. You want more time. You want to be able to spend more time with whoever. You get married. I'm like, bro, I'm going home to my wife. What are we talking about, right? And there's times where it shifts, and obviously it's like, okay, this work project's exciting, right? Or I'm like, okay, I want to be home with my wife more. But I think once you have a kid, it's like, okay, like I want to get all my work done within my 40 hours so that I don't bring anything home.
There's a part of that though that I feel like is like, oh, I have to, because I have to be present and I have to be home, and like I have to be involved in my child's life. Well,
Absolutely.
I guess some people don't see it as like I have to be, but
well, I
definitely I feel like you do.
I definitely do. I think there's a side of me that thinks of it, even just from like a follower of Jesus perspective, is like there's going to be a day that I stand accountable for how present I was in my child's life.
Yeah.
Like nobody else is going to be asked about that but me.
Yeah.
Right? On the flip side, nobody else is going to be asked about how well they stewarded the youth ministry for the time that I was responsible for stewarding it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And nobody else is going to be asked how well I stewarded being married to you, right? And so, but it's like, okay, how do I lean into both? Which kind of leads me to a thought that I was thinking about the other day when someone said like, oh, you're going to find a new meaning to the word balance. And I've thought this before, and I've heard someone else say this. But what do you think? Is there a difference between being balanced versus being centered? And do you think one is better than the other?
Centered, can you define/describe that?
I would argue that centered has more to do with priority and like lean, where balance has to do with quality.
Yeah, because for some reason the thing that I thought of when you said centered was like almost like anchored. Like you're at a point, like you're attached to a certain point, but you still have a little bit of leeway to drift and like lean into certain things. I would never describe life as balanced, because I don't really think life is balanced. I don't think you can ever really balance life, because different priorities have different rankings, and so sometimes it's going to feel like more of a juggle. Like I've always kind of thought of my life as like, it's not necessarily that I feel like, oh, it's equal attention to my marriage and equal attention to work. Like I've never really felt that. I felt like more like, oh, this is a time where I need to lean more into my marriage, or like, oh, I need to lean more into work, like during this season. Not being neglectful, but just, kind of designating a little bit more time to that. But when I do think of being centered, I kind of think of that principle of like an anchor, and you have like a central point that you're always going to be tied to. And honestly, I think that like if you're a Christian, that's going to be God. But
I was just going to ask, what's your center then?
Yeah, I think that's like the thing, whatever like keeps you grounded,
Yeah.
So I think it looks different for everybody else. So for some people it's their own individual autonomy that will keep them grounded, you know, or their own like hobbies or sense of satisfaction, fulfillment, whatever, or what they believe their purpose is. But so I feel like that's the center point that keeps you grounded, and you kind of have almost like a diameter around you, or like a circumference,
or like a radius almost.
Of like how
reach.
far you can go and reach.
Yeah.
And so I think depending on the way like just natural water patterns happen and what happens in life, like you kind of travel along this certain radius at different points where you're gonna, you know, hit close to the edge of this point, or you know, come closer towards like your family, or depending on whatever life throws at you. So I think that's kind of the way that I've always really thought about it, but I've never really thought of life as a balance. That to me is like, I feel like that's unrealistic.
Yeah, and I think it's a nuance for sure to like go like, what's the difference between being balanced and being centered? Because I think people use balance as like, oh wait, I want to make sure that I'm showing up for everything, which is fair. Yeah. But I think that kind of.
Whoa. Yeah, I just had like a pretty big contraction.
Really? Is that what that is?
I'm kind of like in the middle of it.
Whoa, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
But I think there's definitely an element of wrapping language around what reality actually looks like. Yeah. And so I almost wonder if there's other words that could. I like that idea of being anchored. It's like you've got something that keeps you stable, right? I even think about how it says, "Hey, we have this hope as an anchor for our soul, an anchor for our soul that actually keeps us from going all over the place." Yeah. Something to be said for inner stability when chaos is going on. We've been in church. We've been talking about doing the series called
Joy.
Yeah, the pathway to joy. And there's been a differentiation between like joy and happiness. And I was just thinking, I was like, happiness is what's happening around you. I think that joy is actually what's happening in you.
Yeah, 100%. I'd agree with that.
Because I think that joy actually is a lot about what's happening. It's just not external world, but internal world. Yeah. So what do you? Whoa.
Sorry, that was me.
So what things have you had to? Because right now, you know, got contractions, a lot going on. The other day you were
raging about something at work.
Yeah.
Which Joe did such a phenomenal job of de-escalating that whole thing. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever raged. So like at my job, like it's very much like kind of individualized work. Like you work, it's really just like me with my clients, if that makes sense. So for the most part, like yes, I have a supervisor, but I don't really collaborate with a lot of people. Like I'm not working on like a team, and if I am working on a team, it's like kind of loose, right? So I think this past week was the first time that I ever had like a pretty like significant conflict with someone like at work, and it was just driving me nuts. But Joe, so I feel I was so grateful because like, you know, starting from Saturday up until about Wednesday, he's working like 12-hour days. You know what I'm saying?
It's just, that's just kind of my work schedule. Yeah. Like every week, it's just like that.
Or he just comes home late. And when he came home on Wednesday, I was like, dude, I gotta rage. Like, I have to get this out. Like, because, and I think the only reason why I was like craving and kind of longing to honestly like dump that whole thing on you was because I knew that I would be safe if I did it.
I'm glad.
I knew that I would be safe, and I knew that it wouldn't be like a judgment zone, and that I would be cared for and taken care of. But yeah, there's a point of that where I was like, do you still see me the same?
Yes, I do.
I was like, do you still love me?
I do still love you. It was wild.
Do you still think that I'm like amazing? I'm kidding. Because I was like nervous because that was the first time that I've ever really
thrown it all, like been really that upset. Yeah, and shown me. That was funny.
Yeah, It was like one thing after another that whole day, though. Not even just with this coworker, but you did a really great job. Like, just
Thank
I
you.
feel like centering and grounding me and kind of like de-escalating that whole thing.
Well, you just had. Well, can I share the thought process I had?
Yeah.
Is
Did you share this with me already?
Yeah.
Okay.
My thought is anytime somebody's in a lot of discomfort, which you were, emotionally and physically, that, or pain is another way of looking at it, is people start to focus inwardly on themselves, right? And so, like, I think that people in pain are actually usually fairly prideful, is the way that you can kind of look at it. But it makes sense because you're hurting, so you're like focused on you. And I think the people that I am like, wow, you are of such inner strength, are the people that can be in really uncomfortable situations and still care about the other person. And I actually think that you're really like that. Like, it took you to the point of being like 39 weeks pregnant and have a conflict at work and have some other stuff going on for you to really start making it about you. And I was like, that takes, like, you were in a lot of discomfort before you did that. And I was just like, well, just let her talk about how she feels and then be like, but you got it. Like, you're okay. And then just give you the space. All you needed was space. You just needed a pressure valve.
Yeah. I just needed to release some steam, man. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But I think there was this part of that conversation, though, that reestablished, like, you and your emotions are genuinely, like, separate as to, like, who you
The
are.
value you hold.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was, like, that was a really great reminder and kind of refresher that, like, yes, my emotions are evoked from, like, internal structures or things that I've been building up, or, you know, what might be happening in the internal substance of who I am. But it's not the thing that actually holds the value of who I am.
Yeah.
So that was, like, a really good reminder, because I was like, I felt like I was holding it in for so long, because I was just like, this is not who I am. Like, I'm not a person who complains about this type of stuff, or, you know, who feels like there's, like, so much power wrapped up in this. I feel like I'm typically the type of person who's just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
You're like, it's not that big a deal. I'll be fine.
Yeah, she's moving a lot. So, but yeah, it was one of those things.
You're so crazy. I love you. And I don't look at you any different.
I know. It's so nice to hear that, isn't it? Everybody should go find a person who's going to tell them that.
Fran's so funny. She'll be like, I just hope everybody has a
Has
relationship
someone like
like
Joe.
ours. And I'm like, okay.
No, I genuinely hope that everybody has somebody that's like you.
I mean, I hope everybody has the person that they should have.
Yeah.
Because what
me,
you offered
Joe.
to me is different than what someone else would. And I'm glad. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I think I was talking to you about it. I was like, I'm so glad that God gave me you, because he knew. And there were other people that, like, I talked to or dated or whatever, and I'm like, I'm so glad it was you, because you communicate and you have what my soul needs in so many
Thank
ways.
you.
And so
I agree with that. Well, vice versa, like flipped. Yeah, like, I agree that your soul has everything that I feel like my soul is in need of.
Yeah.
So.
Which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that. We got another 5 minutes. Is there anything that you want to...
How did you know that?
Look at the clock.
At the clock?
This went fast.
Yeah, it did go really fast. I feel like part of it was scrambly, but I think it's fun.
I think the people who watch this series like want that.
The scrambly part?
Yeah, put in the comments, say, hey, what's your favorite random thing that we said?
Yeah. Or what even do you want us, like, what parts of, I guess, the podcast that we
what do you want to know?
Are you
because we haven't finished
enjoying
talking about our story yet. Like, we could do a second part of this.
How we did our first kiss, we did the way that it started.
Yeah, we could go into
go into how we got back together.
Yeah, or even dating the first time versus dating the second time.
Dang, I feel
what was it like being broken up?
Oh yeah, that's wild.
What is dating the second time like? What's engagement been like? What's first year of marriage? And now we're going into parent. I feel like we've got a lot of backlog.
Yeah, we do. We could do a lot, but let us know. I also feel like I'm getting hungry, but I can't eat anything.
Nope, can't eat anything.
I think I just need to drink water or something.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You want me to get you some ice?
No.
Oh yeah, you're cold. You want me to get some hot water?
No.
Okay.
I think I'll be okay with just normal water,
get
but
that.
thank you. Oh, we should have gotten sparkling waters from the
Thrift? Or
house.
from my,
From
yeah.
the thrift.
I don't know where that came from. I'm tired too, man.
Yeah, we've been up for a while.
We have been up for a while.
Now I feel like we should take a nap after this.
Yeah. Let's tell Magnolia some nice things.
Aww.
Magnolia, I really hope that we meet you today.
Yeah.
I think you are amazing, and I'm so honored that I get to be your dad. And you've already done everything that you need to do to be totally and completely loved.
Yes.
Which is simply exist.
Exist. I know. I was telling your father this. Your father. I was telling your father this probably like early on. I think when we entered our second trimester. I said, Joe, I really think that this child is really destined for greatness in a way that we probably will exceed our expectations. And like, I feel like people dream about that for their kid. But like for me, I feel like it's this like visceral like conviction that you're destined for greatness. And so what an honor and a privilege it is to be part of
entrusted to raise you.
Yeah, to like help develop your soul.
Yeah.
I hope we do a great job.
I know we're going to give you everything we have.
We're going to try our best. We might not get it perfect, but we're going to work hard.
You get it all.
We're going to work hard and keep the trajectory aimed at perfection for sure.
Yeah. Get you connected to Jesus.
Jesus.
But anyways, we love you, Magnolia, and we love you together.
Yeah,
Safe
everybody
together and
who's
together
watching.
family.
I know.
Yeah, we'll see you guys soon, and we'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
This podcast probably won't come out for a while, so.
Yeah, but so far so good. I feel good.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. All right, I love you. Thanks for doing this with me. I think you're amazing.
Thanks. I think you're amazing.
Me?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, we.
Stop it.
No, never.
Okay. Don't stop. All right. I love you, babe.
I love you too. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.